Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. I am Joker, and it's been said I have a face for radio and a voice for print. I got the beanie on. I'm a little bit of a generic Tim Pool tonight. He's another YouTuber here that has like 2 or 3 million followers, if you're not familiar with him, because it's a little chilly out and my bald head gets cold. Tonight, we're going to talk about an Eton College. They fired an English master, gentleman, one of the teachers, the professors there, for saying basically, the radical girl power orthodoxy that you're teaching is not such a good idea, and that, young men, or men in general, aren't really bad. And because of that, they said, hey, you're dangerous for bringing out an opposing view. You must be fired. So we're going to talk about that tonight. I'm not going to be doing my my dating profile of the week. I don't think I have one pulled up. I might, though. I'll check, and if I do, I'll try to edit it in somehow. So they say Eton College, they sacked their English master for producing lecture for older students that questioned the current radical feminist orthodoxy. Will Nolan taught English at a £42,000 a year Berkshire school for 9 years. Can you imagine going to a school that you have to pay £42,000? That's like, I want to say probably $55,000 US dollars for 1 year. So if you go for 4 years, you're talking about basically having to pay $200,000. And I don't know about you, but underwater basket weaving doesn't pay that well. It seems college is more, and I've said this before, college is more and more becoming kind of an elitist place to go that doesn't really teach you anything except how to spend mommy and daddy's money or get very much in debt. Now, you guys may disagree with me. It's been a long time since I've been in college, but I've met some of the people coming out of college. And when they are shown a picture of the world without borders, they cannot find the United States. They can't find the U.S. because they don't see the little line separating the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, so they can't find it. Now, how you can't see Florida sticking out there like a guy on a hot date, I don't know. But anyway, so they say an Eton College master has been sacked after preparing a lecture which questioned current radical girl power orthodoxy. Will Noland, who taught English at I already read that, for 9 years, said he was dismissed over a lesson titled The Patriarchy Paradox. He said he was appealing the gross misconduct claim and will go to an employment tribunal if it is unsuccessful. So he was charged with gross misconduct for trying to teach a lesson that was just saying, hey, the patriarchal thing that you guys are trying to run with, it's kind of you're running around in circles. You're not accomplishing anything. He says the class was for older students taking their perspective module where they are told to critique topics of public debate. So this is a debate topic, but apparently you can't have a debate topic and actually debate it, because that's a no-no. It was made as a virtual lecture to be put on the college's intranet due to the bug, but it was never aired, so it didn't even make it public. Eton has been accused of prioritizing emotional safety over intellectual challenge after banning the lesson. And this is something we've heard time and time and time again. We see it on our college campuses here in the United States, where someone like Ben Shapiro or someone else that is conservative goes to speak on a college campus, and they throw riots, they burn buildings down, they trashed like Berkeley. If you look up the Berkeley campus fiasco that they had several years ago, just because they were going to have someone that speak there that some students didn't like the opinions of. When you start doing this, you're taking away. It's basically you're saying you have to agree with me. And if you oppose that view, we can't hear it. And this is kind of the same way that's happening with a lot of men's issues, is that I'll say, hey, you know what? Men have challenges ahead of them. Men have problems that we're facing right now that it seems no one really understands. That's it. That's the full brunt of the statement that I would make. And what happens? People come back and say, "Why are you hating on women?" Not hating on women. You can have an apple, and it doesn't mean you lose an orange. You just have an apple. If I say, hey, I'm a big supporter of men and correcting the failings that society has given men. Period. End of statement. Now, yes, I can turn around and say women have advantages and women have this, women have that. But you can make that as just a whole statement. You don't have to take from one to give to the other. And that's why we can't get any help for men that are needing shelters, for homeless shelters. We can't get men needing help for household harmful acts that are what's the word I'm looking for? That are done to them. And so they need to get out of the house and find a safe place to go. No, can't do that, because if you're trying to push up men, that means you must be putting down women. And that's the way they looked at this lecture. They say Mr. Nolan told the Telegraph, the headmaster felt that some of the ideas put forward in my lecture, such as the view that men and women differ psychologically, and not all of those differences are socially constructed, were too dangerous for boys to be exposed to. Just saying, hey, you know what? Not everything's social. Men, testosterone, aggression, strength, determination. It's kind of, it's kind of in our DNA, so to speak. That's all he was bringing up. But just to tell this to young men is apparently dangerous. But it's okay to put men like Styles on the cover of a magazine in a dress, because that's fine. There's a lesson there, I guess. I explained to the headmaster that I wasn't endorsing all the ideas in my lecture, but I wanted the boys to be made aware of a different point of view to the current radical girl power orthodoxy, which insists that there's something fundamentally toxic about masculinity. In my lecture, I pointed out that historically, masculine qualities like strength, courage, and tenacity have often been as beneficial to women as they have been to men. Yes, that's how countries are defended. That's how women were defended back in the Wild West and various other areas. That's how men had the aggression to go out and hunt dangerous animals to feed their families. This is part of what we're designed for. And the more you fight this and the more you try to say, no, that's bad, all you're doing is you're confusing and you're muddling up a lot of young, and we're not even seeing the worst of it, but you're muddling up a lot of young men that are growing up today. And they're turning into kind of weirdos because they don't know how to navigate this world where they say, you know something? I'm okay being a strong, independent man. I'm okay being confident in myself. Doesn't mean I need to be mean or bad or aggressive or anything to anyone else. It means, hey, I'll keep to myself and I'll do my own thing and I'll make sure that I'm healthy and I'm a good person to other people, but it doesn't mean I kowtow to other people's demands. The ones that get really weird, I think, in society, and that are the ones that kind of lash out against the women, are the guys that are getting through this. They've been told all their lives they're awful and they're bad and they're this and they're that. And then when they get older, they start getting angry and they start getting frustrated and they start feeling that they're being taken advantage of. And when this happens and they lash out, all of a sudden they point and they say, see, that's exactly what we're talking about. We need to do away with that. But what they don't understand is what they're teaching is what's creating it. They continue on. After his dismissal, Mr. Nolan wrote a letter to the Eaton community to make clear why he lost his job. In it, he said schools had a legal duty to offer a balanced curriculum and added he thinks the way the school teaches masculinity lacks balance. He said ahead of his lecture going live, it was shown to other prospective course teachers with one complaining. Mr. Nolan said it was removed, but a fallout ensued when he would not take it off his personal YouTube channel due to free speech, which led him to being sacked. So he puts this lesson together for his college students. They say, no, you can't talk about this because feminism. And so he says, fine. All right, then I won't do it as a lecture. I won't do it as a lesson. I'll take it down, but I'm going to keep this lesson up on YouTube because I think it's important. I want people to see it. And the college sacked him for not removing it off his YouTube. And this is, he says on his YouTube channel, it says, I currently work at Eaton College, but the statements and opinions on this channel are not necessarily agreed or authorized by Eaton College or its subsidiary companies. So he even said this has nothing to do with the college. This is my opinion on something, and he puts it out there on his own private YouTube page, and they fired him for not taking it down. And I'll say this, good for him for not taking it down. At least he has a backbone. You know, it reminds me a little bit of the Three Stooges. Society right now reminds me of the Three Stooges and some other various cartoons or whatever you want, where they have somebody that's 10 feet, 3-4 meters away from a cliff's edge, and someone's taking their photo and they say, step back just a little bit, little more, little more, little more, and the person falls off the cliff and they go, perfect, click, and they take a picture where the person's not in it anymore because they're plunging down to the bottom of the canyon. That's what we're doing with society. We're taking men and we're saying, hey, just a little bit more, just move out a little bit more, be a little bit less toxic, talk a little bit less, maybe not ask girls out a little bit more, maybe understand that women want to marry you but still date other people, and it's more and more and more. And as you push the men out of society, here's the thing, we don't go away. We're not going anywhere. You're stuck with us. The difference is we'll be in society, but we'll be out of society. Now, you won't maybe go as far as I am, which is, being semi-retired and doing some YouTube videos and living on a slowly converted school bus and doing my own thing. Maybe not, but you know something? It happens in Japan. It happens in other areas where young men will go to work. They won't interact with any women. They'll go to, and I know I'm probably mispronouncing this, but they're going to the manga stores, or the manga, I guess, the comic book stores. As a matter of fact, when I was in Tokyo and when I was in one other area, I forget, maybe it was Hideko. Anyway, when I was in Japan and I visited Japan for about 2 weeks, I stayed in a hostel that was inside part of one of these manga stores. And they had food service, and they had dart machines, and they had pool tables. And all it was young men that would come in after work. They'd play pool together. They'd read these books. They'd talk. They'd hang out. They'd eat food. They'd have coffee. And then they'd go home, and I'd see them the next night. And there were 20 or 30 of them in this relatively small place because they worked, they made their money, they hung out with friends, and they went home. And it was a loop cycle. I don't know if they were happy, they were laughing and having a good time while they were shooting darts and hanging out. I didn't understand Japanese, but I understand what a smile and a laughing looks like and everything, and they seem to be having a pretty good time. But as you push men to the outskirts, what they're going to do is they're going to make their money, but they're not going to spend it. Or if they spend it, I spend a 20th of what I used to spend when I was married, and probably a 5th or a 10th of what I used to spend when I had a relationship. I don't buy things anymore. I don't need to. I have everything I want. I don't, my fireplace is finally warming up. I don't buy things because I don't need to. I have everything I want for the most part. And so I become a hoarder of money, and I'll retire early, probably down in Southeast Asia with 3 beautiful young girlfriends and a beach a house on the beach. But as you push men out, they're just not going to be part of society anymore. And people in general, society in general, will hurt because of this. I don't need to go on much further. That's pretty much it. The Eton College spokesman said this is a matter being appealed as part of the college disciplinary process. It would not be appropriate to comment before a final decision is made. So there we go. Just speaking out and saying, hey, you know what? Being toxic or men being men is not toxic, and men are good. They're good members of society, and you teaching all about this movement and that men are bad is not healthy. Saying that as a professor, which you'd think at a college university was about free speech and sharing ideas, you'd think that is a good idea. But nope, not at all. They completely get rid of it, and they just don't want to have anything about it. So, guys, if you're still college age, I'm telling you, if you got to be careful, go to state school, go somewhere where you're not indoctrinated with this, because just being a guy, you're going to be graded differently, you're going to be treated differently, and you're going to be frowned upon just for being male. Let's see. I don't really have a profile of the week. I'll put one together for the next video. I forgot to prepare it before before I got going tonight. So I'll put a dating profile of the night on my next video for you. Guys, I'll leave it there, though. If you'd like to support my work, links are below. If you have, thank you very much. It means so much to me, and I appreciate it if you do. The rest of you, if you like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my older videos. A lot of the topics you guys asked me for an email in for, I've done 6 months, 8, 10, 12 months ago. So check out those videos as well. Guys, that's it for me. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker. And remember, you can push men aside. You can say we're toxic, we're bad, we're wrong, we're horrible. The good men will not be affected by this. They will just leave you alone. They will go further away. And what you're going to be left with is men that are not healthy, men that are confused, men that don't understand, and men that feel that they are not part of the society but desperately want to be. And when they're not allowed to be, they're going to get weird. They may lash out, and they're the ones that are going to be giving society a problem. Not the level-headed guys. They're just going to be gone.